Hey guys, welcome to episode 27. I just wanted to give you an update on the mollies. I managed to catch all of them, and the ones in here are about a week old now. They're doing really well. I haven't seen any of them die off, so that's good. I've been feeding them 2 or 3 times a day. As you can see outside of the tank, there's 3 or 4 different sizes of molly, but the next smallest one is in here. I've got probably 5 or 6 of them in here. There might be 1 or 2 that are out. They might have jumped out. I might not have caught them all. But these ones are probably about a month old, and I think they came from a different female. But they are the only surviving fry from the betas. The betas seem to be the only aggressive fish in this tank. So I did take all the betas out, but the rest of them are doing really well. The tank is doing really well. I've got to do a water change on it. The only thing left to add here is the sand substrate. But I'm not convinced that that I should add it back. I'm not sure. It's kind of a toss-up. It's much easier to clean the tank. It's much easier to maintain the tank without the sand, but it looks a little nicer with the sand. So we'll see. I'm still kind of deciding that. I did wash the sand, so it is ready to go back in, but I'm not sure if I'm going to add it back. But anyways, those are the fish, and here are the turtles. I did manage to unload 1 or 2 buckets of sand in here, and another 2 or 3 buckets of sand in here, and I put the rocks in, and I put the pothos plants in, and as you can see, I put the driftwood in as well. They're already starting to make a mess. This was a problem the last time I set it up, and it's going to be a problem again. I've just got to take all those rocks that they keep knocking in, and I'll probably add them in over here instead. But yeah, I mean, everyone's doing really well. Look at this. 5 turtles, right? Which ones are the 2011 hatchlings and which ones are the 2010 hatchlings? They're getting close in size already, and it's ridiculous because they're being fed the same amount, and they're a year apart. They're a complete year apart in age, and they're almost the same size, which is mind-boggling. I don't quite understand it, but all of these come from Keith B. So props to Keith for producing ginormous turtles that grow really fast. I don't know what you feed these guys. But I know what I feed them. I feed them mazuri, aquatic turtle pellets, and they seem to love them because they're growing like monsters. Anyways, so the tank's looking really good. I've got my basking rock in. It's kind of enveloped by plants right now, so I might try to move some of those plants towards the back a little bit. And I've got these screens here that I need to staple back in place up behind where all the filter returns are, just so we don't have any turtle escapes. So I'll be doing that here shortly. But I think most of the pothos plants are going to make it. I've got a couple that are just starting to root, and I don't know if they're going to make it. They seem pretty limp and lifeless right now, but maybe they'll spring back. If not, I'll just toss them out and keep keep some of my longer strands as cuttings, and I'll just keep cutting them and planting them and see what happens. As you can see, the flow rate has gone way down, and that happened after I added the sand back. I think a lot of that junk that was in the water just kind of plugged up the filters, so I'll definitely be pulling my filters apart here shortly and cleaning those out so that I have a really good flow rate, especially with all 5 of these turtles in here. It's gonna get a lot of bio load fairly quickly, but the fish are doing well, so I guess that's a good sign. Here are Jonathan Helm's hatchlings. They seem to be loving this tank to themselves. They've grown quite a bit. They've still got a lot of growing left to do, and hopefully they continue to grow throughout the winter. I did add some of the female betas into this tank. There's one up there. There's one down at the bottom somewhere hiding. Oh, there's 2 of them there. But anyways, there's another one over here. They've survived as well. So the turtles haven't decided to eat them yet. I did order another bag of Mazuri aquatic turtle feed. This is a year old, and with 3 turtles eating, I only got about there. But this it's actually more than a year old, so it's definitely expired, and I definitely will be tossing it once my new bag comes. Kind of too bad. I might try to sell Mazuri by the pound, so if anyone is interested, my new bag, I'll have plenty of fresh new Mazuri aquatic turtle feed. If you'd like to buy a pound or 5 pounds or whatever you'd like, let me know, and I'll use my new bag, and I'll dump some in a Ziploc. I'll weigh it out and I'll ship it to you for a much reduced price. I want to get my money back, and I don't want to waste food. I think that's a giant waste, but it actually ended up being less expensive than buying it by the pound, which is kind of sad. I wish they had some sort of option between the 1 pound and the 25 pound bag. But yeah, let me know if you're in the market for some new Mazuri turtle food, and I'll see if I can hook you up. Just send me an email, send me a message on YouTube. It's basically all I feed these guys. I mean, I do supplement their diet with some shrimp sometimes. I've got brine shrimp cubes. I've got bloodworm cubes. They do get the occasional veggie, but they're not huge into that. I do feed them ram's horn snails as well, but the bulk of their diet is Mazuri, and they're not complaining. So let me know if you want in on that. But the tanks are doing well. I anticipate that these turtles will probably outgrow this tank by the springtime, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do at that point. I'll probably take this tank down, and I don't know where I'm going to put them, because this tank as it is full. If you figure 10 gallons of water per inch of turtle, there's 120 gallons of turtle in this tank already. I do have the filtration to keep up with it. I have 2 XP3 filters on it, but I can't add another 4 turtles to the tank. That's just going to be way too crowded. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do at that point. I'm open to suggestions. I've considered the 300-gallon stock tank, and there's definitely the space here in this corner to do that, and I am on a concrete floor. Excuse all of the fish supplies I still have to find a home for. So it is possible to put one in, but I feel like that's going to be another large investment, and I don't know what I would do with this setup here. So anyways, that's kind of the situation, and I'm starting to plan for the future with those. In one of my past videos I mentioned I might try to sell a couple of my confirmed 2010 male Diamondbacks, as I'm looking to acquire some females, or grow out some females here, so that I have a small time breeding group. So that might alleviate some space on this system in the short term, but that wouldn't happen until the springtime either, because I don't want to ship in the winter. And then the mangroves. They look nice under the lights here. They're not going to live on this counter here forever. I just threw them up here for the short term. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clear out some space right here, and I might extend this stand a little bit to accommodate the 20-gallon tank for the very short term. I know it's not really an ideal setup having a wall of aquariums right here, but the end goal is to just have one larger system, and I don't know if it's going to be the 125, I don't know if it's going to be the 300, but this tank will eventually go away as well. This is kind of a means to the end here. But I am going to raise this water level here. I am going to add some substrate. Not quite sure what yet. I've been doing a little bit of research, and I've seen Eco Complete has gotten some pretty good reviews. There's also Fluorite and other substrates which seem to have pretty good reviews. Basically what I'm looking for is a substrate that's rich in nutrients, micro, macro, to allow me to not have to fertilize as often, and allow these things to get a good head start. I'm actually surprised at how well the black mangroves are doing. They're working on their second set of full leaves, and the red mangroves are just starting to peek some leaves out here. If you'll notice this one right here, that's a leaf, and it's just starting to pop out. This one here, that's a leaf, and that's starting to pop out. And if you see a lot of them, the really big fat green tips, those are all leaves that are starting to pop out. And if you look down here, that makes sense because we've got some pretty good root structures established. I mean, look at that one right there in the middle. It's got a really good spread of roots, and I hope when I add substrate to it that they'll just grab onto that stuff and the roots will start to go crazy. So that's kind of the plan for this. I did notice there's one or two snails in here. There's like a pond snail, and he's huge, and there's a ram's horn snail in here too, and he's ginormous as well. So they've just been having a field day in this tank by themselves with no competition. But I've probably got a few more dead mangroves in here, and those are typically the ones that are starting to brown and show no roots. So I'll probably pull those out. I might reposition some of these to get them spread out before the leaves start, and then I'll just pull everything out and add some substrate to it. So that's kind of up next. I'll put it down here for now, and we'll see how it does. But that's the update. And I've got some water changes and some filter maintenance to work on tonight. So, see you guys later.